Hello, everybody. Welcome to the first stream from the Hype Educator. So, we're just going to give it like maybe 60 seconds to let everyone in. But while everyone is coming in, we're just going to test and make sure that we are showing on the platform because I'm not used to doing this solo. So, let's see. My producer slash husband is going to check to see if he can see it live. Can you see it? Are we streaming? He's checking. He's checking. He's checking. Okay, we're good. All right. So now that we know that we're on, okay, and we are live, we are going to talk about something really interesting. Oh, you got to go on mute. Something really interesting because I have been following this YSL case because I am really into like things, law and order, that type of thing. And it was really interesting because let's back it up. I'm an educator, okay? So I am an educator and presently I teach fifth grade. And here on this channel, I particularly like to talk about things like literacy because that's my jam. That's my area of expertise. I would talk about things literacy. We talk about different strategies to help everybody and teachers. We talk about promoting happiness in the classroom. We got to bring back the positivity in the classroom. Just saying, because we are seeing teachers saying, I'm teacher tired. They're pulling, not pulling out the classroom, but they're pulling out of education. So I am doing my part to bring the hype back into education. Okay. And that's why we're building this community hoping that everybody, you're with me. So I need you all, come on, let's subscribe if you're not already subscribers. And again, we're about making education hype, which is why when I saw this, I said, we got to talk about it. Okay. So I was looking at the lead attorney. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and give him props because I also have a little clip that I want to show you. I look at the lead attorney because I love to follow his commentary as he goes through things about the law and everything like that. And again, I told you, following this YSL case, everybody knows the star witness, right? Lil Woody. And his real name, the government name, is Kenneth Copeland. And we've been following him. Everybody thinks, he's funny and everything. I get a little laugh in there too. But when the lead attorney interviewed Kenneth Copeland, he started talking about his life, his education, okay? And he also went into talking about the classes that he took. So, I instantly was like, wait a minute, let me listen. As an educator, you want to see what's going on. How did, he view his education? Well, I felt a little sad because he started talking about how he actually, his hearing, he said he lost some of his hearing. So he does know sign language. And because of his hearing, he was pulled into special classes. I'm going by what he said, okay? He said he was put, you know what? Matter of fact, let's watch a little bit. I have a clip of this, I believe. I believe I have a clip so you all can see what I'm talking about. Again, I am new to doing this by myself, guys. So I'm hoping I can show you. So hold on. Hold on. So, okay, while I'm trying to pull it up, I'm looking down at my laptop, okay? Um, he said because of his hearing, he was pulled into special classes. And in the special classes, oh, I don't see my clip. Okay. Well, because of the special classes that he was pulled in, they put him, he was in there and then it continued until high school. And when he was in high school, he was like, hey, pull me out because why am I taking these? He said elementary classes in high school. I started kind of questioning, like, wait a minute, what's going on? Because I understand he had the hearing problem. Yes, he probably was being pulled. It could have been for something, from what I know, something like maybe occupational therapy or different things to help him with his hearing and adapting to the classroom. But when he said special education and he was taking elementary classes in high school, and it caused kids to tease him, call him, I'm doing quotes, slow. And of course, he got mad. He's going to retaliate. He goes off on them. They going back and forth, and he's, going back off on them and started teasing kids, right? I kind of seen that before, though. I mean, educators, think about it. Have you seen something like that before? Because kids don't want to be called slow. Like, who wants to be called anything outside their name? And here's the problem I have. I want to know, do you think his family was properly informed why he was in those classes? Because I don't understand being put in special education classes to where you're taking elementary classes in high school, unless your benchmarks, your test scores, and different things we're looking at, your data is showing that you're not ready for the standards in ninth, 10th, or 11th grade. So that's where I'm like, wait a minute, that's an issue. Okay. So that's an issue and we need to talk about it. The other thing we need to talk about is how can we prevent? Because I'm like, wait a minute, if he's saying that he had this issue and kids were teasing him, we get pullouts all the time in our classroom. How can we prevent a student from feeling like I'm being singled out when they're being pulled out the classroom? Even though you have kids being pulled out, it could be for tag, which in Georgia, that's our talented and gifted program. It could be for anything. But what do we do to solve it? So I wrote a few notes. Okay, that I just want to, let's just kind of go through and kind of discuss because of what he said. It led me to kind of think about what really takes place in education. And I'm like, oh, we got to solve this because who wants, if the kids are supposed to be getting help, they're actually supposed to be getting their help. That's why they're getting pulled out. So when they get pulled out, for those who don't know, okay, they're getting pulled out so that they can receive the services they need in order to be able to catch up in the classroom. For whatever reason, there may be a small deficit. It could be a big deficit. It could be somewhere where they need help in reading, a particular area in reading. It could be an area where they need help in math. Okay. As a teacher, I'm excited when the school really does participate in these programs. You're excited because you're like, I'm going to do my part. I'm going to do small group, but not only that, but now I know he or she is going to be pulled, and they're also going to be working with this student. So now we're going to close in those gaps. This baby is going to get closer and closer, right, to their grade level. That's what we want. But here's the issue. If that student is feeling like I'm being singled out and kids are making fun of me, how do we solve that? Because I'm like, we're happy as teachers. We're like, yeah, that child's going to get the help they need. But now they may rebel. So here's something, if you can write this in the comments, okay? I wish I had mine, but I put it on my other thing. Okay. So if you can put in the comments, maybe your personal experience, okay? So those that you are watching, if you can put in the comments, what is personal experience? Maybe you as a teacher. It could be maybe you as a parent. Maybe you had a child who had to get pulled out for whatever reason, okay? And share your experience with like pull out special education. Now, one thing I can say that I've experienced at a school, and I thought this was lovely, okay? I thought this was good. You know what they would do? They would also have that co-teacher come into the general ed classroom. So now it's not like that child had to be pulled out, but the teacher was able to come in and they help along the way with that student, like sit side by side. Nobody really knew who that teacher was there for. He or she may be helping a few people. So that is one of the solutions. I think that's a good solution. However, sometimes a student may need more help than that, and they do have to get pulled out for small group. Okay. Um, let's see. Another question. These are all things that those who are watching. If you have time to put in the chat, it is how do students generally react to being pulled out of general education classes in your experience? Have you ever seen a child not want to get pulled out? Now, in my experience, most of the time the kids don't want to leave because they have so much fun in my room, just because I'm the hype educator. But at the same time, though, is it that they don't want to be pulled out because it's like everybody would know? Because no matter what, it's not like we're making a big announcement. We're not doing any of that, right? No one's doing that. But I mean, kids know. These kids are smart. Like they figure it out. They know who's the teacher for who and what's going on. I teach one of my blocks are the accelerated and advanced kids. I don't make that a big announcement. However, those kids know growing up through the school, I'm in advanced and accelerated, and that gets around. So a lot of kids know that, oh, maybe one of these blocks that Mrs. Hopkins Sullivan teaches, that's advanced accelerated. So you can't really hide that from the kids, but what do we do? That's just my question, because we want to make sure at the end of the day that we are helping our babies and we're not hindering them from the learning process because they're feeling shameful or anything like that. Another one, oh, okay, so I'm sorry. So I'm going to just say, I have seen though, like students when they were about to get pulled, like someone saying, where are they going? And I heard a kid before, this was like when I first was teaching, and they would say something like, oh, they getting pulled because they got to go to that special education class. So as you can see, and then even going back to like little Woody with him talking about his hearing issue, I'm also thinking about this. I've taught probably 3 to 4 kids who had hearing impairments. And I remember at least twice where the students, they would wear a device, and I also wore a device that I would talk into so that they would be able to hear. The kids did not want to wear their devices. They would not wear it. They did not want me wear. Of course, I'm going to do what I need to do because this is part of, their program, and we need to make sure that they're learning and they can hear. But the kids did not want to feel like they were different. So, it's a sad situation because you're trying to figure out, I'm here to help you. So now, as a teacher, I made sure that I talk to the kids, and let them know, listen, your impairment just may be something people can see because we're wearing this, but almost everybody in this classroom has something they're dealing with, whether you know it or not. Everybody in here probably has something. Embrace yours. Know that we're here to help, and that's it. You know, so just kind of going back and forth, trying to say, here's a problem, here's a solution. But as an educator, I would advise you to make sure that you talk to that student, you make them as comfortable as you can. Like I try to put on my device before the kids walked in the room. So it's not like, oh, little Susie is here now. Let me put on my device. I didn't do that. So I would try to typically have it on even before they came in the room at the end of my last class. So that when they walked in, it was just already on. Made it look like it was just part of what we were doing. Okay. And I would hope that in little Woody's situation, right? I would hope that they were able to explain to him why he was in the classes he was in. Again, I don't know everything. I don't have his paperwork. I don't have any of that. I'm only going by exactly what he said in his interview. And in his interview, he said that he was in there because he had the hearing issue. Now, your hearing issue can cause learning deficits. It can, because if you can't hear everything clearly, you may fall behind, right? So that could cause you to probably not be on your grade level, as what the district deems as your grade level. That's possible. But I don't think he was clear with that because he thought it had only to do with his hearing, which I think is sad because maybe if he truly knew why he was in that class, because again, it can't be totally because you had a hearing issue, then maybe some other steps could have been taken. Other steps could have been taken because we have to make sure that every kid is getting what they need and the family is properly informed. Okay. All right. So now moving on, and this is not going to be a long live because this is my first one, but solo. I do this as well with my co-host on our other channel. I'm not great in that, but this is my channel, the Hype Educator, and I'm doing the solo today. So, okay, so here we go. Here's some solutions I feel for best practices. So this is what I wrote down, okay, is in class support. So you want to try doing things where you integrate special education support with your general education class. And that is like what I said, where possible, if you can have the co-teachers come into the general ed class, and it almost may seem as though I am here for everyone, even though they know I'm working with this group of kids right here. That would be excellent because now no one is being singled out and it's happening right there in the classroom. And that also helps the teachers because now we are kind of teaching this lesson together. We're co-teaching, rather now I got to find time to meet you during my planning and all of this so we could talk about how little Susie and little Johnny is doing. We're able to do that, while we're in that classroom. All right. And then let's see, what's the other one? Oh, you want to make sure that you talk to your class about everybody. This is what I'm big on. Everybody in my class gets what they need. Okay? So it's almost like, this may sound bad, but it's like, don't question me why. This child may be able to do this because guess what? You're able to do that. I want to make sure that every child gets what they need. There are some children who need, it's just like, I don't know, have you ever read what is it called, the five languages, the love languages for? I forget how many it is. But people have different love languages. There's different ones, okay? It's five different love languages. That kind of falls true even inside the classroom. People have different learning styles and they have their different ways that they need you. So I particularly make sure every child gets what they need. So I tell them every child gets what they need. If that means maybe for a test they get pulled out, maybe in this classroom I may be able to see that I need to sit you here next to me, or just different things. But you want to speak to that class and make sure that we don't make fun of anybody. Those should be class discussions. You should incorporate that in your morning meetings, okay? Because again, those kids were teasing little Woody in that classroom. What was the teacher doing about that? What was she doing? He or she, what were they doing? Because if this was going on to the point where he felt like he had to speak up, that's an issue. So, and we don't catch everything. I understand as teachers, we don't see everything. So we have like 30 kids in the classroom. But somewhere they should have been able to feel that he was uneasy and should have said something. Just my opinion. This is all just my opinion. And then another one I put in there is making sure, this is my last one, talking with the parents, the family, okay? Making sure the communication is open with the parents. Again, going back to that situation with Mr. Kenneth Copeland, Mr. Little Woody, okay? Going back to that because that's what prompted me to feel like I needed to do this live, is the communication had to be off. It just had to be. And they needed to make sure that they kept that communication open. Okay. So you should constantly be making sure you're communicating with parents, letting them know where they stand in the classroom, where they are, where they're improving, where they could be digressing. Okay. You want to make sure you're talking to them about it. Parents need to have a clear understanding of what programs their child is in inside the classroom. They need to know that as well. If they're being pulled out, do you know how many times your child is being pulled out for class? Maybe your child's supposed to get pulled out and may not be getting pulled out. I mean, it could be even that situation. Or your child is being pulled and getting these extra helps and you really don't know what's going on. So make sure you're in constant communication with the parents, because we know all the time parents are not always reaching out to us necessarily because they may not know what really takes place in the school system. Things change so much from year to year. But either way, I want you to put your thoughts, please put your thoughts in the chat, in the comments. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to subscribe, okay? Put your apples in the chat, teachers. We got apples. You can put your green, put your red. What's your favorite color, okay? Put it in the comments. And not only that, make sure you check out every Tuesday, I release a new video. I release a new video. I have my website, the Hype edu.com, which has wonderful resources. I put resources on there so that we can have smooth classes, with strategies, different things like that, and to stay hyped. All right. All right. So to all my hype educators, thank you for joining. I can't wait to meet with you all again. It wasn't that bad. I was kind of scared to do this live, but it wasn't that bad. Okay. So I can't wait to do this again. I can't wait to see your comments, okay? Stay hype, subscribe, like, click the notification, all right? All right, y'all, bye. Peace.